Nicodemus here. On today's episode, I wanted to go over another question from the A Course in Miracles group on Facebook. A woman asked, how about you do an episode on being a perpetual student of the voice of love within and use some practical experience?
To understand, really, to be a perpetual student of the voice within, it's a great way of wording it. We have to understand the simplicity of what the Course says, about love and ultimately about extending love. So, why it gets so challenging is, let's give an example, people in our lives, maybe someone in your life that, is you're struggling with, or, an event or something happens where you feel, you're hurt by it. What he says in the Course is that if you remember that everything is either love or a call for love. Everything's either one of those 2. So think about this, example, someone in your life, maybe it's a family member, and they get angry or upset. What that is a call for love. So actually, when you see people operating from their own pain, all of it's a call for love. Really deep down, what we all want is love. So what Jesus says in the Course is that everything's either love or a call for love, and our job is to respond always with love. Now, simple, not always easy. Well, why is it not always easy? Because of our judgments of the person or the situation. So to operate from this perpetual place of love, we have to be able to let go of our judgments. And, I talked on the last video about what is a miracle. And, there's been some contention and disagreement, even in the Course of Miracles community, about what is a miracle. Well, Jesus says it throughout the Course often, is that miracles are expressions of love. So in every situation in my life, what my goal is to, whenever I see anything that's not love, my goal is to respond with love. Well, why? Because when people are operating from a lack of love, they're calling for love. So anything that you see in the world where people are hurting others, where people are hurting themselves, when people are lost, it's all a call for love. So what we want to learn is how to respond to all situations with that call. Actually, what our job is to supply the lack. Because if love is what's missing, our job is to supply the lack. Now, that actually makes it really simple for us. So what our goal is to look at all the things, we talk about on this channel, and what he talks about in the Course is that our life is like a dream. So at first it's a nightmare for all of us, but what happens is, as we learn to respond with love, all of the dream figures that posed a threat to us, or posed a you know posed a opportunity for us to, well, I wouldn't even call it an opportunity, but where we lose our peace over them or the situation, all of that, all we need to simply learn to do is supply the lack, and the lack is always a lack of love. Now, I want to read a few things from chapter 1. This is the principles of miracles, and some of them, I'll go through a few different ones, but it says miracles occur naturally as expressions of love. The real miracle is the love that inspires them. Let's go on. It says, miracles are natural. When they do not occur, something's gone wrong. So that expression of love in our life, that every day we want to devote our life to that. So what happens, going back to the dream analogy, is rather than the nightmare where we start to offer love to all the figures in the dream, the figures that in the beginning propose a threat to us, when we start to learn to love all those figures in the dream, that's people, situations, everything, politicians, the people you don't like, everyone. When you look around the world, all of those are opportunities to learn to love. And then as we extend love to all those figures in the dream, the figures that at one point, you know, seem like they posed a threat to us, now are seen as harmless and cannot touch us. And that it's through our love and offering love that we're actually strong. See, when we offer something other than love, we do it from our own weakness. Now, going back to how do I be a perpetual student of love? What we need to train our minds to do, and the Holy Spirit ultimately teaches us this, is to see past the appearances to what the real need is of all of us, and it's love. It's love. Let's go on. It says, miracles are a kind of exchange. Like all expressions of love, which are always miraculous in the true sense, the exchange reverses the physical laws. They bring more love both to the giver and the receiver. Now, what does that mean? That miracles, in the true sense, the exchange reverses the physical laws. What does that mean? Well, actually, think about this in your own life. So if you have a situation, let's say a family member said something that you perceived as hurtful. In that moment, we feel weakened by that exchange. And what the ego sells us on is that I extend love to them, I'm now even further weakened. So think about it. It's like if they said something to me that I felt like was hurtful, I feel weakened. So now I feel like I've lost something, but I really didn't. Actually, when I extend love, it reverses what he's saying here, the physical laws, where I perceived loss. I now see it as actually a gain and an opportunity to learn love deeper. And that means reversing the physical laws. It means nothing in the world could ultimately touch me. Let's go on. And he goes on and he says here, each day should be devoted to miracles. We said that earlier. And I want to read this one. Miracles are healing because they supply a lack. They are performed by those who temporarily have more for those who temporarily have less. See, if I can respond to love in that moment, I temporarily have more than the person who's acting out of pain. And it supplies both the giver and the receiver if they're open to it. Think about that for a moment. For those who temporarily have less, if a brother or sister is operating from a lack of love, they're operating from their own scarcity and lack. So when you and I learn to respond with only love, what we're doing is we're supplying the lack. So in every situation, if you could remember this one thing, this is the key to always responding and to always actually what the question is to constantly come from that place of love. We can understand this one distinction that everything's either love or a call for love. If you and I respond with anything other than love, it now makes us insane. And we know deep down that we don't want to operate from insanity because it never gives us what we want. So we get to learn and train our minds to see that call for love in all situations. And that really ultimately, all of us deep down, all we want is love, the love of God. I don't mean the love like Hollywood love or romantic love. It's that agape, unconditional love that God has extended to us in creation. And now we get to learn that. And this game of life and this dream is the perfect ground to learn that. So for you, look at your life. Like, where in your life do you feel that there's lack of love from others, even maybe from yourself? And then ask the Holy Spirit to teach you how to supply that lack. And you will see unbelievable opportunities every day and all around to actually extend love. And it doesn't need to be this on a big level. You could do this at the the grocery store. You could do this at the gas station. You could do this in your thoughts when you think of people. Maybe you don't see them anymore, but constantly giving them love in your thoughts. And as we do that, we retrain our mind to respond with only one response in every situation, and that's love.